So what is happening with Evolving Skies? Is it because of the Bitcoin increases up to now $72,000, or is it because of the supply? Down the rumor mill that supply is dried up and there's no more Evolving Skies. We will get into it. Hey guys, Slade, grade level collectibles, driven by passion, motivated by nostalgia to educate people in the world of collectibles. Hey, so today's topic, the good old Evolving Skies. The Moon Kitty, the Rayquaza going through the trees, the fantastic, top tier Sword and Shield set. The creme de la creme of the Sword and Shield era. Evolving Skies. So, funny story. When Evolving Skies first came out, and everyone and their mother were talking about it, all the cards, like, this is going to be a great investment, oh, put all this or whatever. I was like, whatever, I'll buy some boxes. I think I bought I don't even know. I think I bought 4 boxes at $150 each, something like that. And then later I was like, I just don't feel good about this. I don't feel great because it's by that period of time I saw the manipulation that YouTube does or whatever. Unnecessarily manipulation or unknowing manipulation of prices and everything. So I was like, I'll just hold off. I cancel my order, whatever. Well, given now, prices are now surpassed $600 per booster box. So that's something to talk about. And Evolving Skies has been the hot topic to talk about for a good bit, especially on all of the Sword and Shield sets. But why right now? Why is it just spiking to the moon? Why is it just taking off in price? And I can show you the trend right now on TCG Player on the booster pack, as well as the booster box prices, as well as some of the chase cards in it. And this is a very complicated question to answer, and not really a complicated question to answer. I feel it is sparked. It is definitely sparked by two areas. I think majority of the area is Bitcoin. And the sudden crazy prices that have become. Where, at the beginning of this year, I think they were, Bitcoin was at 25,000-30,000, and now, like I said, it's at 71,000, 72,000. And because of that, I don't know what it is, and I think it's just this newer generation. I'm part of the newer generation, but I think it's just the generation where Bitcoin is really held fast on this generation, where it's so intertwined with this generation, with these people that are interested in Pokemon, that are interested in investments or whatever, that it's really one-on-one with Pokemon and collectibles in a totality sense. Probably Magic the Gathering seen a little spike. Probably Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh. But probably a lot of these other collectibles are seeing this little spike. But it's really, to my eyes anyway, it's really accumulating into Evolving Skies. And it's mainly because Evolving Skies is probably one of the most talked about. Probably the most talked about set of the Sword and Shield era on YouTube. Probably, I would put money onto it. And so you have the most exposure with this. Everyone deems it as the best set of Sword and Shield, best investment. I mean, there's so many different investment videos on Evolving Skies. Don't even get me started on that. And you have this new generation, my generation, whatever, coming into newer wealth. That they're selling their Bitcoins, they're buying something. I don't see a lot of people buying real estate with this new Bitcoin stuff. Maybe I am a small factor, but I see majority of people moving this type of money into collectibles, into it could be shoes, could be just more tangible items. And I think that's been the cause for a while now of moving Bitcoin from intangible asset to a tangible asset. Because I I'll link a video right here. I know there's going to be a lot of backlash of it and everything. I saw this video and I watched it and I was like, this is, background information, I did get into Bitcoin a little bit in 2020. Not 2020, what am I talking about? 2018? The first spike or whatever. I got into it like, this is cool, revolutionary, whatever. And then I read more about it. Then I, really deep dive into like, okay, who's holding this stuff? Who's buying this stuff and everything? And then it really got a lot of gears moving. And I don't, right now, I still have that money from 2016 or whatever. And I put a small amount of, I was like doing coins or whatever, tokens or whatever, buying, selling. It was pretty fun. It was like a little game that I lost, quite a bit of money on. But I don't really care. It sits in my my app, Exodus app, kind of like a hot wallet or whatever. And so I don't really touch it anymore. I see the trends. I feel, oh my gosh, I feel the FOMO. Oh my gosh, it's ingrained in everybody right now. Everyone's hyper focused, like, oh, you gotta get on this Bitcoin before it goes to $1 million, bajillion dollars, But I want to save my opinions on it all. I'm just very skeptical, as well as I'm very hesitant, because there's a lot of risk, a lot of intangible risk, because this is the main thing. This is the main thing why I put so much money and effort in my business into Pokemon. Because at the end of the day, like, I keep looking at this. This is Rayquaza EX from Celebrations. At the end of the day, if this card in PSA 10 goes for $2, goes from whatever price is at now, rockets down to $2, I still have the tangible item. I still appreciate it. I can display it. I can, show it to friends. I can trade it, whatever. If I have an intangible asset like Bitcoin, and it's highly speculative, and it's all about speculation, everyone's in it because of speculation. You could kind of draw parallels to Pokemon. Oh, everyone's in it just speculation to make a buck or whatever. But the bottom line is, there are people that just collect this stuff, not because it's a dollar value added to it, because they cherish it, they value it to their own, that they would never sell this card. And that's and that may be like a boomer thing, to the newer generations of like, oh, it's just because he lost money on Bitcoin, or oh, he doesn't understand the cryptocurrency, the horizontal, vertical engineering, the whatever, man. To me, it's too much of a risk to take on cryptocurrency. I know I'm kind of going down this line. We talked about evolutions first, then going to cryptocurrency, but this is why I would kind of ask you guys to watch that video if you are interested or have been for a while, cryptocurrency and everything. Now, given this video was made on the very, very bottom of the market on Bitcoin, the last tank or whatever, so there's a lot of negative sentiment around Bitcoin at the time, but it gives some good information that if you're into it, I would want you to know. I just want you to know. Not that I sway you that buy more or buy less, just want you to know, Anyway, again, I feel that there are parallels between the Pokemon, collecting and investing spheres and the cryptocurrency spheres, because they're of the same people. There are plenty of people there that collect Pokemon as well as have cryptocurrency, and you see it all the time. So anyway, that's why I think Evolving Skies has the most exposure and the most videos of like, hey, you want to get rich quick or whatever, even that's a scam or whatever. But anyway, hey, put all your money into Evolutions, where the evolutions, have I been saying it? No, I haven't been saying it. Evolving Skies has gotten to a point where you could say that the print run is done. Sword and Shield run has done. And a lot of people draw parallels to the, I don't know what they are, the Pokemon vending, not vending series, but the vending machines or whatever. They're not supplied anymore. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing there's vending machines that are strictly run by Pokemon. I have no idea, but the supply is gone. Obviously the Pokemon Center Online is gone. So people are drawing parallels like, hey, it's done. No more is being reproduced. and whatever's out there is out there. Yeah, so that's what I feel that why evolution. Evolving Skies is seeing a very big spike right now. And also, I kind of noticed this because I love having... People hate this, but I love having best offer on my items because on eBay. Because I can kind of scope out, like, okay, what's the feeling in the market? Okay, this in the last 24 hours, this card has gotten 5 best offers, or someone sent me 5 people sent me best offers. Like, what's going on with here? And that's what happened with my Rayquaza VMAX alternate art in a PSA 10 that I bought from a collection for like, I don't even know, $200, $150, something like that. I bought, and then it graded a PSA 10. And I'll not always with my items, but with my items that I see have future projections, as well as future growth, I always tend to price them a little bit higher. So I had the market price probably at the time that I listed it was about $300, something like that. So I priced it at $500, $499.99. And then in the last, like when I was on vacation here recently, went to Hilton Head, fantastic time in South Carolina with my wife, our yearly trip. So when I was out there, I kept getting pings of like on eBay, like, hey, someone sent you a best offer of $450. I was like, oh, that's pretty good price. Yeah, normally I would take that, but I was like, and I got like 2 more offers, and then without me even going to accept or think about the other 3 offers, someone bought it. Someone straight bought it for $499.99, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? So then I researched it a little bit more, went deep dive into what's going on with Evolving Skies. And you have the Reddit Pokemon investment, r/Pokemon Invest or whatever. Everyone there is talking about it, whatever. And yeah, so that really sparked my interest. Like, oh, what's going on with Evolving Skies? And I looked up Moon Kitty. I looked up, Umbreon VMAX alternate art. I looked up all the kind of big hits, and I'll show them again here. Again, you see this huge spike that's happening on all the chase cards. And I feel personally, I was kind of bummed because I was like, oh man, if the booster boxes are selling or skyrocketing up to get a booster box, it's $600. And to even have the probability of pulling the Rayquaza is crazy high. So getting that for $500, I feel was a steal. I feel. But, that's the good thing to have with extra copies. Not extra copies, but extra copies of PC 10s. Where I don't have another one. So if... normally I would only list one at a time, and if it sold out, I would list the other one a little bit higher, and that sold out, list the other one higher. That's kind of been my strategy with that. I don't normally list all my items quantity all at once, because some guy's going to get a great deal, he's going to get 5 copies, and he's going to buy it right then and there, and then if spikes later on, then he sells later on. So that's kind of what my strategy has been, and so... That sold, and people were asking about my Rayquaza V alternate art as well, and you kind of seen the sentiment has kind of died down a little bit from Evolving Skies, but it's still up there, and it's still up there. Probably goes hand in hand with Bitcoin because Bitcoin kind of spiked down a little bit. And I don't need to draw a 1-to-1 ratio, but there has been an increased awareness and increased speculative moves into Evolving Skies. So that's something to be aware of. And because of those aspects, some people may ask me, like, hey, are you moving into Evolving Skies? And the answer would be no. Because I love, and here's one of my biggest things, again, the last video I talked about with trends, the biggest thing I love is buying things when it's not cool anymore. When there is a more heightened, I would say there's less risk than buying it as all-time high. I buy things when it's not cool anymore, like like the last video I talked about with the Yokohama Pikachu Worlds. No one in their mother's talking about it, probably except for me. I'm probably the only video in this entire week of YouTube that people are talking about Yokohama Pikachu. In 2024, everyone in the mother's talking about Evolving Skies and what's going on with the whole price ticks and all that kind of stuff. But I'm over here talking about Yokohama Pikachu. I love to buy things when they're not cool anymore. So I should make a list of things that aren't cool anymore and things to maybe be on your watch list. Van Gogh Pikachu, not really cool. I mean, kind of cool, but not really cool anymore because there's so much out there. Yokohama Pikachu, Japanese full art trainers. Whoa, don't. That's like a curse word around these joints. But honestly, the prices have significantly dropped. Japanese promos that have come out, as in recent promos, like the delivery Pikachu promo, not the special delivery Pikachu, but the no, not delivery, Detective Pikachu. He's on the Growlithe or whatever. That's a really good promo. And like sealed Japanese booster boxes, V-Star Universe, I think is still at like $63, something like that. Fantastic set. I've hit my limit of how much I want to buy and how much I want to risk. So it's just in there, but I'm just waiting around to ticks back up. But if you bought that a year ago, you'd be down probably 50% of your money, pretty much. And I would say in general, in a totality sense, in general, inside Pokemon, yes, those are not cool anymore. But outside of the entire collectible market, I would say Pokemon's not really, it's still cool, 100% still cool and everything, but it's not cool to buy right now. Everyone's focus and everything are actually on a whole nother TCG. And that's One Piece. That's really One Piece. If you haven't looked into One Piece, I highly suggest you do, because that's where the money's going toward is One Piece. And you know, I'm all for people who are all about that TCG, love that TV series and anime and all that kind of stuff. If people want to ask me if I want to put into One Piece and everything, maybe if I was a pure business, I would see money there, and yes, I would put money into One Piece. But as a person that weighs risks and cons of if One Piece suddenly tanks, and I'm stuck with all this One Piece, like, I don't really care about One Piece. I really don't. And so I don't feel comfortable holding so much of it. In the sense of like, okay, like if I'm stuck with this, I love Rayquaza, this is a great artwork, I love it, and I would very much appreciate having this in my closet versus having a lot of One Piece that I don't even appreciate. So for that reason, I'm out. But yeah, I'm not getting into One Piece, but I would highly suggest those who are purely businesses to look into One Piece. It has some great promises, especially the company that runs it. Oh man, I forgot who runs it, but they've run a great TCGs in the past, and I would highly look into. I think they did Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. I think they did. Don't quote me on that, but they're not like a Yu-Gi-Oh type of thing where they will print it into the ground. Rudy from Alpha Investments kind of talked about One Piece as well, and that's kind of the sentiment he said as well. He's not into it, but he said the company behind the people, the leadership behind it is really good. So that's that's something to consider. And you always want to consider it when going into spending a lot of money onto a TCG that you don't know much about, or any type of entity. What's the leadership behind it? What's the long-term projection, as well as the past performance of this TCG. So, but also it just diverts a little bit too much from a niche, which is exclusive high-end Japanese cards. That's kind of my niche, as well as just other high-end cards in general with Pokemon. So that's my niche. I like to stay inside that niche, and I think over a long period of time, I don't think I have another area I want to fully develop money into right now. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents on the evolving skies, and hopefully you learned a little bit on what's brewing inside my brain of why this whole spike is happening. Everyone and their mother will say like, "Oh, Evolving Skies has the best artwork, has the it's so rare, all that kind of stuff." With modern releases, nothing is rare anymore. Scott has said he said, what has he said? He said modern chase cards are vintage energies. That's what he said, and it's definitely, I definitely see why he said it, because of there's just so much product out there. There's so much product. If you think any Moonbreon or Rayquaza VMAX or what alternate arts are super rare, they are flat out not. They are absolutely not. Maybe if the amount of people that come into the space and they just eat up everything, maybe in that stance, yes, it is rare, but comparatively to vintage, not rare whatsoever. Think about it this way: if you have, you know, thousands of VMAX, you know, Rayquazas, and then maybe a couple hundred of the vintage, these vintage cards and everything, they will spike a lot faster and harder than, especially if that huge flux of people come in, than those modern chase cards. So I really draw connections between people who say that, as well as how new they are to the space, and what era they even have knowledge about, as in if it goes past X and Y, you know, previously. So anyway, I don't want to hit on that too hard, but yeah, so that's my thoughts and feelings about Evolving Skies, and hopefully you learn some from here. If you have any other comments, or if you have an opinion or whatever, you know, you don't have to agree with mine 100%. Put it in the comments. I love to read it. I love to, not so much debate, just to kind of understand people's perspectives and why, if I was a new collector, why I should put money into Evolving Skies. But me, being me, you know, been in the hobby for years and years and years, you know, I draw too much connections of, like, I'd rather just have, like, a first edition Shiny Mewtwo, you know, than, you know, what is that? 3 or 4 Umbreon VMAX alternate arts, which now they're at, like, I don't even know, PSA 10 is like $900. I'd rather have a $3,000 card than, for first edition Shiny Mewtwo than, you know, Moon Kitty. But, you know, people like their own flavors and like to do their own thing, so I respect that 100%. So, but anyway, that's all for today. And please, if you have, you know, anything you want to say or whatever, put it in the comments. If you like, you know, what I say, how I say it, whatever, you know, consider subscribing. You know, I very much appreciate it. But without further ado, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.